Abortion is effectively prohibited in Texas, and anti abortionists have been empowered to be informers and report on their fellow citizens if they've helped anyone have an abortion or even talk of abortion in pro abortion ways. And what's worse, the Supreme Court of the United States allowed this to happen. Hi there. It's Foxy, aka Cindy Heathen. I've been gone from YouTube for a while, but I'm back. Full time? We'll see. But I couldn't let this horrible news out of Texas go by and not say something about it. Well, anywhere besides Twitter, that is. So, what the hell is happening? As of September 1st, it is now illegal for people with assigned female reproductive systems to access an abortion after 6 weeks of gestation. Yes, you heard that right. Let me put it in layman's terms. The Texas state legislature has just passed into law SB 8, aka the Texas Heartbeat Bill. It bans abortion for individuals who are more than 6 weeks pregnant. The bill doesn't stop there, though. SB 8 has a bounty provision that empowers private citizens to enforce this ban. Basically, how it goes is anyone can sue a person who helps or is suspected of helping an individual access abortion after 6 weeks. No other state in this country even has an abortion ban with this type of provision. And the bill, the law, since now it's a law, awards successful plaintiffs $10,000 minimum if their lawsuit is successful. Oh, and the Supreme Court of the United States allowed this bill to go into effect, blowing off an emergency petition filled by Texas abortion clinics. So, let me break all this down and show why this new law is another step towards, well, fascism. First off, most people do not know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. Most people find out after 12 weeks that they're pregnant, regardless of if they've missed a period or not. Like, there's some folks who end up pregnant and they're still bleeding, so they think it's just their period showing up, only to find out weeks later they're pregnant. So banning abortion access after 6 weeks clearly forces pregnant people to either go out of state for abortion care, which most can't afford to do, continue a pregnancy that is either unwanted, high risk, or filled with biological deficiencies that would negatively affect the quality of life for that potential human. Or 3, take drastic measures to terminate the pregnancy, including ingesting toxic chemicals or inflicting self-harm to one's reproductive organs. Even if a pregnant person is aware that they're pregnant at 6 weeks, this gives them very little time to weigh their options of either continuing the pregnancy or terminating it, and then to act upon whatever decision they make. So SB 8 essentially functions as a complete ban on abortion in everything but explicit name. And this will affect mostly poor and working class Black women and women of color who can't afford to go out of state to access abortion services, and who can't afford to schedule time away from work to do such a thing, especially like if they have kids, and childcare isn't available to them because they're working class. Oh. Side note, there is no rape or incest exemption in this ban. Because regardless of how the pregnancy was conceived, anti-abortionists regard that, clump of dividing cells as having more rights than the person who endured the rape and incest that conceived it. And these people have the nerve to call themselves pro-life. Second off, deputizing private citizens to report on what other people are doing with their bodies because now it's against the will of the state is some Gestapo shit. Texas Right to Life, which I think is one of Texas's biggest anti-abortion nonprofits and political action committees, has even set up a website for this purpose. Know what it's called? Pro-Life Whistleblower. Under the bounty provision, anyone can report anyone else for anything and be rewarded for basically being authoritarians. An abusive partner or spouse can report and sue a doctor or abortion providers and be paid thousands of dollars if they win that suit. Hell, a random anti-abortion asshole on Twitter or Facebook can accuse and report and sue anyone for helping people access abortions or, talk about doing so, and they'll be compensated for it. Not to mention religious fundamentalist parents, neighbors, pastor, etc., can be inducted into this Texas anti-abortion Staatspolizei and get a nice little payday for it. The broadness of the provision is the very mechanism that will enable its abuse, infringing on bodily autonomy and free speech on behalf of the authoritarian state.
But Foxy, this is all unconstitutional, isn't it?
Constitution.
Well, yes, this is all unconstitutional. But being that the Supreme Court did allow this ban to go forward, and they've already got a case regarding that Mississippi abortion clinic that they're still ruling on, and we won't get the ruling for that until next year. And being that there is a conservative majority in the Supreme Court of the United States now, I am very hesitant to just rely on this when the possibility of Roe v. Wade being overturned is now a very real one. So, what the fuck do we do now? Well, for one, Texans in need of abortion and reproductive care are going to need out-of-state support. I suggest mutual aid and access groups formed to fund out-of-state trips to abortion clinics and to stock up on contraceptives and medical abortion drugs. Information on what the medication abortion is needs to be widely disseminated, just like now we disseminate information to everyone on how to administer Narcan to help folks from overdosing. We need to form support groups for folks undergoing medication abortion in their homes. I remember when I was going through my own medication abortion back in 2019. Someone was supposed to stop by and check in on me, stay around to make sure that I was okay, that I didn't go through any medical complications, and that person never showed up. So I know from experience that having in-person support to help people undergoing medication abortions is not just a nice thing to do. It's the smart thing to do. It's ethical. It's very empathetic. Of course, at that person's consent. Organizations and abortion providers with abortion funds, they will need help to get Texans access to abortion care. So please click the link in the description box. I'm going to have a link there from ActBlue on about 10 abortion funds that you can support right now. Lastly, reproductive and civil rights organizations are going to need donations for lawsuits against Texas about this law. So please donate to organizations like Planned Parenthood and their Action Fund, the ACLU, NARAL Pro Choice America, and Center for Reproductive Rights. There are a host of other reproductive rights organizations out there doing the work. Look them up, support them, please. I know I've been rallying against donating to politicians because they stay in our inboxes asking for money to do their job when they're already hella rich as fuck, and they've shown that they won't do anything. But these other organizations actually do things. They fight the fights that need to be fought. So please go support them. And lastly, commit to crashing Texas Right to Life's little Informer website. Link in the description to a suggestion on how to do so that I found off Twitter. You do not have to go along with what is happening. And we all know that if this ban succeeds in Texas, all the other GOP run states are just frothing at the mouth to push through their little bans. And who knows, they'll probably throw in those little authoritarian bounty provisions too. So commit to finding a way to resist and fucking resist.